Masa is the only innovator, entrepreneur, and businessperson in the world who has chosen the winner and worked with them in each generation. Recall that Masa was the one who introduced Bill Gates to Japan. Masa is credited with creating Jerry Yang, or introducing it to Japan. Masa was the driving force behind Alibaba's success in China's cloud market. Masa was the one who introduced the iPhone and Steve Jobs to Japan. It's likely that many of you are unaware, but Masa used to be, applause, Nvidia's biggest shareholder. We can cry together, it's all right. What if you were the biggest shareholder right now? God, oh God, yes, we did try this. Did it happen 3 times or twice? I mistook it for twice. No, that was the first time we bought stock from the market and became your shareholders. We even discussed certain topics we ought to discuss, don't we? 10 years ago, you and I had a private conversation about, I won't reveal anything. It was 10 years ago. I know, I regret my G from 10 years ago. Nothing is there in my house. Are you all prepared to hear what Masa said? Asterisk Jensen, the market is unaware of Nvidia's worth, Masa stated. The market doesn't realize how amazing your future is. Asterisk 10 years have passed since then. Because you are creating this future, your path of suffering will go on for a while. I'll give you the cash so you can purchase Nvidia. Asterisk, he wanted to provide me a loan so I could purchase Nvidia in its entirety. I now wish I had taken it. It was a brilliant idea. Well, I think that was a really good concept. We're both depressed now. That was a month following my acquisition of, yes, exactly. After that, we discussed merging the two businesses. Indeed, it was another dream and a pleasant one at that. AI startups and tech behemoths alike are eagerly anticipating Nvidia's next Blackwell processor. Overnight, we learned that SoftBank, a Japanese IT company, will be the first to obtain them. At a Japanese AI summit, Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang made the announcement. For today's Tech Check, let's talk about how Deirdre Bosa got us to this stage in our relationship. Who else except Masa and Kelly Deirdre? This declaration, which essentially told the world that he and SoftBank will be major actors in this generational shift, or at the very least make a very strong push for it, was entirely in line with Masayoshi Son's brand. However, it does make Nvidia wonder, why put Masa at the front of the queue rather than OpenAI, Google, or a business at the vanguard of LLM breakthroughs, if the demand for Blackwell is as crazy as Jensen Huang has claimed? According to a source, it was easy. SoftBank placed a large early order. It also occurs at a time when the question of whether AI has reached its zenith is becoming more heated. A significant agreement with SoftBank would also allow Huang and Nvidia to expand their clientele outside the sizable U.S. market to new markets in countries like Japan. Huang, who is currently in Tokyo overnight, lauded Masa as the only innovator and entrepreneur in the world to have chosen or partnered with the tech winner of each generation, from Jack Ma to Jerry Yang to Bill Gates. At one point, he even held the largest stake in Nvidia, which led to this. Asterisk, it's likely that many of you are unaware, but Masa was formerly Nvidia's biggest shareholder. It's all right. Together, we can cry. Asterisk Kelly, I have a feeling Jensen Huang is not crying, but if Masa had kept that 4.9% interest in Nvidia, it would have been worth around $180 billion today. He sold it for less than $4 billion instead. So yes, tears. To some extent, he seems to be laughing it off. Some people sold their Dogecoin and were unable to get their money back, but consider the $180 billion that was still up for grabs. Amazing. You know, it helps explain why he's going big here. It's a crazy figure. That is just extremely Masa Son-like. He won't pass up another chance. During the dot-com era, he nearly went bankrupt, but he placed a wager on Alibaba. This is probably not a 10-second question, but what precisely will he be able to accomplish with the Blackwell chip? Thus, Blackwell is thought to be the most potent AI chip available. Compared to OpenAI, Google, or Gemini, SoftBank and Japan are in a distinct stage of development. Their big language models are still being built up and trained, therefore they are still in the pre-training stage. The concern is if the large LLMs from OpenAI, Google, and Anthropic require more GPUs at the same rate that they have been purchasing them. even though they are more in the inference or post-training stage. There are various stages. Some people here claim that the businesses and LLMs are more in the inference phase than the pre-training phase, which is where SoftBank and Masa might be. Thank you always, dear Drubosa. If you would like any extra refinements, please let me know. Yes. The updated script continues as follows. Huang remarked, "We're really happy that we're doing this. It's amazing to partner with you. This is utterly innovative. This is the first attempt to turn the communications network, the telecoms network, into an artificial intelligence network. When we get back, SoftBank and Nvidia are working together on AI. Earlier today at Nvidia's AI event in Tokyo, Jensen Huang and Masa Sun shared a playful moment. Asterisk, it's likely that many of you are unaware, but Masa was formerly Nvidia's biggest shareholder. We can cry together. It's all right, asterisk. Let's check the Nvidia stock this morning. Because of its Blackwell chip ramp-up, Piper Sandler has rated the stock as a must-own and dubbed it a top large-cap choice. With a price objective of $175, they have assigned the stock an overweight rating. $148.70 is the current price. Guys, you brought up a few of the hyperscalers. Nvidia received some positive feedback, in addition to Piper calling it a high pick. There is this note from Melius. Interesting enough, Ben W. recently increased his price goal to $185. Our excitement for Blackwell has increased even further, he says. Ben compares giving up on Apple after the iPhone 1 or 2 to giving up on Nvidia with Hopper, the current cycle. Additionally, David, they have updated estimations for hyperscaler capital expenditures. $282 billion, a 24% increase from the previous year. Annually, and that includes Oracle, Amazon, and Meta. How that stacks up against some of the Morgan Stanley figures we previously received is unknown to me. Wasn't that more than $300 billion? Yes, it is true that I must verify the figures. There was an information article last week, which is something fascinating that I've been attempting to concentrate on. I also listened to this podcast that was produced by Ben Horowitz and Mark Andreessen. It has nothing to do with that, even though it was done before the election. It was about, or at least they brought up, the fact that big language model development, especially at OpenAI, is drastically slowing down from model to model. I suppose the code name for the upcoming flagship model, Orion, is also mentioned in the information narrative. Although it performed better than previous versions, the quality improvement was far less pronounced than the difference between ChatGPT 3 and ChatGPT 4, the final two models, of course. On that episode, Andreessen made the same statement. It's kind of fascinating, so I'm simply marking it. Is their data running low? Why? Is it accurate? If the pace of progress is indeed slowing down, there are significant consequences. I am aware. Andreessen tweeted the other day, which isn't too dissimilar from what you're saying. He referred to the United States as an economic coiled spring. We should be growing at least 4%, ideally 6% to 8% GDP. He stated growth has been viciously suppressed since before I was born. He states we had these conversations during the first Trump administration, so it would be intriguing. Let's get back to this. Without people, how are you going to achieve that kind of growth? Correct. Perhaps it will be generative AI and robots. Again, but perhaps that's the purpose, Sarah, if it stops getting better. I'll listen to Mark Andreessen and a lot of other experts on this, including Jensen, I promise. I don't know. However, I found it intriguing that Andreessen essentially stated the same on the podcast as well, naming ChatGPT employees as the sources. The reason for this is that we all believe it to be a one-way ticket, faster and higher. Yes, exactly. Additionally, the rate of change will only continue to grow tremendously. That being said, maybe bears.